All right, we're going to walk through how to create a green sheet. And
Okay.
green sheets are what you need to send to the office in order to get paid and get your check cut to you.
Okay.
So in order to get to green sheets, you just hover over technology and click on green sheet.
Okay.
Now, if it's your listing, the property will be already listed in the KWLS, which means that all the property information will be there. In this example, what we're going to do is we're going to click Create a Green Sheet, and then we're going to say, are you the listing agent? In this case, if I say yes, I am, it will take us back to the has it been entered into the KWLS, and then it'll have us do a search. So now, if we're going to search for a property, we can just use your last name, and then this will pull up any of the listings. And usually, what I'll do is I'll do listing status active, because usually those are the ones that I'm trying to do a green sheet for.
Yeah.
And then I can pick one of the listings here. So if I'm just going to pick this for an example. And now what it'll have me do is I'm on the specific listing. I'll scroll all the way down to the bottom and I'll click green sheet. Now the green sheets are fairly easy to do as long as you just give it the information that it would like. All the fields that need to be filled out have the contract date, are all in red with an asterisk in there. And you'll just go through each individual item, and I'll show you how to do this when you represent one side. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to put the contract date in as yesterday, and we're going to put the closing date in as December 31st. Our transaction type will be listing sold, and our class in this case we're just going to do property as if it was a normal house.
It's just a plain old lot is what it is.
So our property type is we're going to say we can either say lot in this case, but most likely it'll be a resale. Occasionally you'll have a lease.
Okay.
If it's not distressed, we don't have to do that. The information the address will have been pulled in from the KWLS. And then as we come down, we can just click on the next section. Now it's going to ask us, this is the part where people get a little tricked up here. So if we notice that the sale price is, let's just put $100,000 on this one. Okay, now most of our commissions are flat. So in this case, we are doing for our market center side only. Now, since a lot of the commissions are a percentage minus a fee, so if it was 2.5% minus $150, we want to pick flat, or let's say 2.5% minus or plus $150. So that would be $26.50. So typically, you want to do a flat commission versus if it's not a strict percentage. Okay, so in this case, we're going to do $26.50. Now, if we put the earnest money in, so if we're the listing agent, a lot of times we're going to be holding the earnest money, so you want to put that in here.
Okay.
All right. Then we'll just go down to the next section, and it'll ask us for the buyer's information, and then it'll ask us for the seller's information here as well. Now, on the agent detail, this is where a lot of people get also confused. There is one, when we look at the agent role, typically you're going to be an individual agent. Okay.
Yeah.
And the type is going to be, we're going to say listing, and the agency is going to be seller. We're not going to do dual agency here. Now, the listing unit can be, it's got to add up to 1. So if I put 0.8 over here, and then I wanted to come over here, and I had another agent that was helping me with this one, and I was going to put, let's say, John Ziemba in over here, I could say he's an individual agent as well, that he's also helping me with the listing, and that we have seller, and then I'm going to do 0.2, and what you'll notice is that the combination of this value here and this value over here has to add up to 1 here. But in this case, let's just say that we don't have another agent here, so I'm going to delete. I'll let me delete it.
Okay.
Typically, on a normal transaction, if it's just you, you're just going to have the number 1 in here. But if you have multiple people, that number has to add up to.
Okay.
Have to add up to there. Okay. Split with market center. If we're not capped, we would just type split with market center. The market center is going to double check that anyway. And then we'll just come down here if we have any other things that we have to put in here. So we're okay because most of this is typically not filled out. Now if there's an outside referral, we could put it in here and then we would put the comments down in the notes section. Now notice that these are these are deductible items from your pay. Some of them are eligible charity and some of them are not. But understand that all these have to have a number in them. So
they do?
Yeah, so they can have a 0, but they have to have a number in them.
Okay.
So these and then these down here. Okay?
Okay.
And then when we come down here to co-broker, we can put the co-broker's information in here. And then we're going to come to next section here. If we have any vendors, typically we don't use this much, but if you're using a mortgage company that's familiar with the office, they'd use that for some different tracking items. And then we have the notes down here. And this is where we could add any notes about if there's an outside referral or anything like that. Now, when we get done with this, we just simply come down to the bottom and we can click Submit to MCA. And don't worry about uploading documents because we already have uploaded them in .loop. We just click Submit Greensheet. And then what we'll notice is when we go to submit our Greensheet, if we've done it correctly, it will say, it'll give you a message here that says that it's, I believe, initiated or submitted for compliance. But this will show you here all the errors that you had. So if you're seeing this red screen, occasionally, sometimes you'll be down here and you won't know if it's submitted. So you'll have to scroll up to the top of the screen in order to see that. Okay, so this will explain to you why it was not required. Now, since we're doing this as an example, we're not going to submit, but it's saying that the buyer section and seller section is required, and that's why it's not. So when you get done, you can make those corrections by just clicking in the individual area and putting in a buyer's name and a seller's name and so forth, and then click and submit to MCA, and that will send the information there. If you submit the green sheet incorrectly, or that there's an adjustment after it's done, you'll have to contact the MCA to have them make the adjustments, because once it's submitted, you can't change it.
MCA?
That's Karen.
Oh, Karen.
Yeah, in Orland Park. So if that happens, that's what you need to do.
Okay.